Imagine walking into a room where everyone assumes you are the weakest link. They do not look at you. They dismiss your input before you even finish speaking your thoughts. It feels like a subtle, painful insult. But what if this dismissive silence is actually your ultimate competitive shield? Why do we naturally fight so hard to prove our value immediately? Your brain absolutely hates being ignored. The human ego demands instant validation. It wants to scream its achievements from the rooftops to secure its social rank. Yet human evolutionary history tells a completely different story about the mechanics of survival. The loudest creature in the forest is rarely the most dangerous. Why have we forgotten the immense protective power of absolute secrecy? Your ancient ancestors did not survive by constantly announcing their physical strength. The quietest predator is always the most lethal. A brightly colored venomous frog warns its enemies of its toxic nature, but a camouflaged trapdoor spider relies entirely on being completely invisible. The spider waits patiently in the dark until the target wanders too close. Do you see how silence shifts the entire dynamic of control? Consider the groundbreaking work of Dr. Samir Nur Muhammad at the Wharton School. He investigated the precise behavioral psychology of the underdog effect across multiple hyper-competitive industries. His findings flipped traditional corporate management theory completely on its head. When individuals know they are being significantly underestimated, their internal motivation undergoes a profound shift. They no longer carry the heavy, exhausting cognitive load of protecting an established reputation. Have you ever noticed how much faster you run when no one is actively monitoring your pace? High expectations are a psychological trap. They create a rigid, unforgiving framework of permanent pressure. Your brain constantly monitors your status to ensure you do not drop in social standing. This continuous self-monitoring consumes massive amounts of your daily mental energy. When you are underestimated, that energy is instantly liberated for actual performance. You gain the beautiful luxury of making mistakes without facing intense public scrutiny. Why would anyone willingly trade this invisible shield for a fragile crown of early praise? Let us examine the research of Dr. Amy Cuddy on social perception. Human beings evaluate every single person they meet based on two core evolutionary axes. These primary dimensions are warmth and competence. When you project immense, unyielding competence right away, you automatically trigger a subconscious threat response. Your peers instantly become highly guarded around your presence. They actively prepare to defend their own territory against your perceived dominance. What if you could bypass this entire defensive wall simply by letting them believe they are superior? This is the hidden essence of strategic concealment. It is the tactical decision to let your opponent rest comfortably in their own ignorance. An arrogant competitor who believes they have already won will naturally stop refining their strategy. Their mental focus softens over time. Their operational guard drops completely. They begin to overlook massive, critical vulnerabilities in their own execution. You are not losing the long game. Are you simply allowing them to defeat themselves through their own profound complacency? Think about the classic studies conducted by Dr. Robert Rosenthal on behavioral shifts. While his famous research focused primarily on how positive expectations elevate performance, later scientists explored the power of strategic defiance. When a highly capable individual recognizes a low external expectation, it activates a state of psychological reactance. This specific mental state does not paralyze the strategic mind. It focuses it into a razor-sharp, quiet weapon of pure execution. The brain stops seeking external applause and shifts entirely to objective completion. Can you feel the profound clarity that comes when you stop caring about their opinion? Look at how you navigate your modern life today. You feel a constant, exhausting pressure to post your wins online. You want everyone to know your exact value the second you achieve something. But the moment you reveal your full hand, you forfeit all your strategic leverage. You invite unnecessary jealousy. You invite active sabotage from those who secretly fear your true potential. True excellence does not need a loud microphone to validate its existence. It operates in the quiet margins where final results speak completely for themselves. The next time someone dismisses your true ability, do not correct them. Smile quietly to yourself. Let them enjoy their safe, comfortable illusion of absolute superiority while you build your foundation. They will continue to look right past you until it is far too late to adjust. Walking into a room where everyone assumes you are the weakest link is no longer a painful insult. Is it not clear that underestimation is actually your ultimate strategic victory? To fully master this strategy, you must first conquer your own internal desire for immediate recognition. That is the hardest part of the entire process. The brain interprets a lack of immediate praise as a direct threat to its survival. You must train yourself to see the quiet space as a zone of maximum freedom. When no one expects anything from you, you own the entire board. You can move pieces without anyone blocking your path. Why do we rush to alert the enemy before our trap is fully set? Throughout history, the greatest strategists have always used this exact psychological blind spot to finish their campaigns. They did not wear flashing armor. They dressed like simple merchants or low-ranking officials to avoid drawing early suspicion. They allowed their rivals to celebrate early victories in public. This intentional concession fed the rival's ego until it grew completely unmanageable. An overfed ego is the easiest target to destroy. How can someone defend against a threat they do not even believe exists? Consider the cognitive freedom that comes with zero external pressure. When the world expects you to fail, every minor success is a massive shockwave. When the world expects you to win, every minor mistake is a catastrophic failure. The burden of maintaining an image will eventually break even the strongest mind. By shedding that burden voluntarily, you become an unpredictable force. You can strike from angles they never bothered to guard. You can change your entire approach without explaining your reasons to a single soul. Is that not the purest definition of absolute control? Let us go deeper into the mechanics of social comparison theory. Dr. Leon Festinger established that humans determine their own social and personal worth based on how they stack up against others. When you explicitly hide your excellence, you actively remove yourself from their competitive radar. They stop checking your progress because they believe you pose zero threat to their rank. This systemic lack of observation gives you an incredible compounding operational advantage. Why force your way into a crowded spotlight when the darkness offers total freedom? Think about the psychological concept known as the illusion of transparency. Most people mistakenly believe their internal states and true capabilities are completely obvious to the outside world. Your brain tricks you into thinking everyone can see your hidden genius. In reality, people only see what you choose to show them. They are too busy worrying about their own flaws to look deeper into your strategy. By consciously manipulating this visual barrier, you control the entire narrative. Why shatter their comforting illusions when you can use them to your advantage? Consider how a grandmaster approaches a high-stakes game of chess. They do not initiate an aggressive attack with their most valuable pieces during the first few moves. They set up quiet, boring defensive lines that look completely uninspired to an untrained observer. The opponent becomes overconfident and launches a reckless, unstructured offensive. By the time they realize the subtle trap, their position is utterly unsalvageable. Are you willing to look weak for 20 moves if it guarantees a definitive victory on the 21st? This tactical patience requires an immense level of emotional maturity. Most people cannot handle the temporary sting of being dismissed. They lack the long-term vision needed to sacrifice temporary applause for permanent leverage. They choose the immediate dopamine hit of proving someone wrong in a petty internet argument. A true master understands that real power accumulates in absolute silence. Why waste your precious energy winning a minor debate when you can win the entire war? Look closely at the nature of modern corporate environments. The employees who vocalize their ambitions the loudest are usually the first ones targeted during political shifts. They make themselves massive, unmistakable targets for anyone looking to clear out the competition. Conversely, the quiet specialist who quietly delivers flawless results remains completely indispensable. They survive every structural reorg because they never triggered anyone's professional insecurities. How much safer would your career be if you became completely indispensable yet entirely unthreatening? We must also analyze the profound concept of the Golem effect. This behavioral phenomenon demonstrates that low expectations from superiors can lead to a distinct drop in student performance. However, a highly resilient mind uses this negative external pressure as a powerful, concentrated fuel source. They internalize the doubt and convert it into a quiet, unyielding discipline. They work twice as hard in the dark precisely because they know the light will eventually reveal the truth. Can you transform their negative assumptions into your greatest operational asset? The art of being underestimated is ultimately about maintaining complete emotional autonomy. You stop allowing external praise or external criticism to dictate your internal state of mind. You become completely self-referential in your pursuit of mastery. You do not need their validation to know your work is excellent. You only need the quiet data of your own continuous improvement. Why seek the empty approval of a crowd that changes its mind every single week? True power is always silent because it does not require validation from the crowd. The crowd is easily distracted by bright lights and loud noises. They chase the performer who screams the loudest on the stage. Meanwhile, the true architect sits quietly in the dark back row, mapping out the next decade. Do not join the noise, stay in the shadows until your work is completely undeniable.